Hello, I'm MC Toon. Today I'm reviewing a video by Robert David STEELE, where he interviews three experts, as he says, in some field. Now, Robert David STEELE used to be a spy. How do you know that? Because every single video he has, he labels it former spy. Now, because he's got three friends, I thought, well, maybe I'd invite three friends along. Well, maybe not friends. I'll invite three people along to help give some color commentary to this interview between Robert STEELE and these so-called experts. These friends of mine are flat earthers. Now, if a flat earther thinks you're crazy, then you're crazy. So let's see what Robert has to say.
It's an incredible honor for me to be here with three individuals who are perhaps the most authoritative people that at least I know in the English language on the question of 5G, particularly as it relates to viruses, vaccines, and human genetic issues.
Well, experts in the field of viruses, vaccines, and human genetic issues. Very interesting. This sounds good. I suppose the expert on viruses probably is a virologist with decades of experience on virology. The expert on vaccines probably have developed knowledge in how vaccines work. Maybe worked on developing some vaccines or something, and how they can be best made to produce immunity and efficacy against pandemics, like the COVID-19 one that we're seeing right now. And probably the expert in human genetics would be a geneticist with a large amount of experience in how genes are inherited, mutated, activated, inactivated, things like that. This should be very informative.
I'll start with my understanding of the Wuhan virus outbreak, and then I will ask each individual to introduce themselves. My understanding of the Wuhan virus outbreak is that despite the fact that Chinese markets are filthy and there is a lot of stuff that jumps from different animals when you keep snakes and frogs and chickens and so forth together in filthy conditions, it now appears established that this was a vaccine attempt that escaped from the lab in Wuhan and then went a little bit wild. Now, the Western media, undoubtedly egged on by MI6 and the CIA, is using this as an information warfare opportunity against the Chinese. The infection and death statistics are grotesquely exaggerated, and it looks like the virus is now tailing off. It is not spreading to Europe or America or Africa.
Not spreading to Europe or Africa or America. Oops. Now, I know you recorded that February 3rd, and it's now mid-April. Yeah, you want to be careful about making predictions and then publishing them publicly. They might bite back. So, you know what? But let's just ask, what do you think about that, Danny?
Wrong.
Yeah, I agree. But that won't be the last thing he gets wrong.
Having said that, there is also a 5G aspect to this. 5G is very much installed in Wuhan, and it's possible that 5G has not only lowered the immunity of human beings, but it could actually be used in the Soviet scalar time energy mode.
Ooh, Soviet scalar time energy mode. What is that? Sounds like some made-up nonsense. Well, I searched a bit on that to see what he's referring to. I found a lot of junk science claims, including something, let's see, that says electromagnetic field energy that can be turned into gravitational field energy and vice versa. The ability to manipulate gravity. This would be the biggest tech breakthrough ever.
Anti-gravity?
I'm calling BS, but maybe we can see what Dell has to think about that. Yeah, Robert, he didn't think much of it either. So, you may have been a spy, Robert, but you certainly don't know anything about electronics or physics.
To create a viral effect through electronics, electromagnetics they call it, that then has a biology impact. That is the sum of my secondhand perspective.
Well, that is the sum of your secondhand perspective, and your secondhand perspective is absolutely useless. Good thing you've got some experts in viruses, vaccines, and human genetic issues. I'm sure they will correct you on these things.
I'll now start by asking Sacha Stone and then Mark Green and then the professor from Serbia to introduce themselves very briefly, 1 minute each. Who are you and why do we care about what you have to say? Sacha.
Hi, Robert. Thanks very much for that introduction. I'll just correct you. It was Mark Steele and Professor Lakicevic, not Mark Green. But in any event, my interest in the 5G was really came about through the film I researched and then made.
Hold on a second. Sasha's a filmmaker, not an expert in viruses, virology, or human genetics. Well, okay. I guess one of the other experts is doing double duty, I suppose.
Professor Lakicevic I met because we've been seeking remedies. And to my understanding, he is the man, the particle physicist, who has created the most effective full spectrum remediation against 5G, which is to say coronavirus and other viruses as well.
Interesting. One of the other guys created a full spectrum remediation against 5G. But why would you say something about 5G, which is a network thing, has something to do with coronavirus? That doesn't really make sense, but I guess we'll have to return to that later.
So, brother Mark Steele, introduce yourself, please.
Okay, Mark Steele, he must be the expert in viruses, vaccines, or human genetic issues. Which one's it going to be?
Hi, thanks for the introduction. I'm an inventor, chief technology officer at a company, but I'm an expert in microwave radiation weaponry on the battlefield.
Weaponry on the battlefield? What does that have to do with viruses, vaccines, or human genetic issues? This guy doesn't do anything with those. Well, the final guy must be doing triple duty. And what is it with this guy in sunglasses?
The reason for that is because I invent mitigating technologies for that technology. So that's why I know them well. And that's how I know 5G and all its technical parameters is, as a matter of fact, a weapons system.
5G is a weapons system. Really? That's a big claim. I bet you got lots of evidence for that, though.
Therefore, I think you bring to our table a very special, almost genetic predisposition to be very, very smart about this stuff. So please tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, this is it. This is the world's leading expert in viruses, vaccines, and human genetic issues.
Thank you, my brother. It's my honor. I am that I am.
I am what I am, and that's all what I am. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
I am lucky of free and sovereign domain, and I am free and sovereign being because I know who I am and I know who I am not.
Wow. Well, this guy, he's not an expert in viruses, vaccines, human genetic issues. It seems he thinks he's Popeye, but dude, what a letdown. None of these guys are experts in the fields that Robert said they were going to be in. All right, well, let's see what he has to say.
I am a holographic part of the Creator, as every human being equal to the Creator. In other words, we human beings are spiritual beings who are as omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient, infinite and eternal beings as our Father, Creator, God is. So whatever we do here on this planet, we are actually moving perception and we are acting something.
What was that? Danny, what do you think? In-Ram, thoughts? Okay, well, Del, you've got something to say about this.
It's nonsensical, absolute drivel.
You nailed it.
In the context of Wuhan, what is your sense of what's going on with respect to 5G, not only in China, but the rest of the world?
Well, I mean, 5G, as my film it goes in tremendous detail into, can clearly be proven and demonstrated as a weapons system and a delivery system for all sorts of nefarious agendas, which ultimately are connected to ecocide and genocide. I don't know much about the Wuhan scenario, but what I do know is that certain conditions allow for the spontaneous manifestation of viruses. And that could be because, let's say 5G is implemented in a test bed scenario in the Wuhan district. That means that instantaneously, the biological life forms of all animals, all mammals, is instantaneously rendered vulnerable to and has a predisposition to contracting certain ailments which otherwise they would be inured against. But it's precisely the 5G that allows for that precipitation.
Literally, none of that made sense. 5G a weapon system? No, it's a cell phone network. And you said that all animals are spontaneously predispositioned to contracting an ailment. Did all of the animals in Wuhan get COVID-19, or maybe in Italy or Spain or Iran or New York City? No. In fact, really, a couple animals have, but not all of them, as you said, as it would have to be if it was something having to do with radio frequency. Literally, this guy just makes up some crazy stuff. He should make films. Oh, well, he does. I mean, he makes fantasy films. That's what he does.
There's a number of technical parameters in 5G which makes it completely different to 4G. Obviously, 4G is a telecommunications system that's not exactly safe. However, it's a technological advance. 5G, due to its antenna design, allows the collimation or the coherence of microwave radiation in air. There can be beam waves. There's a number of different antenna designs that can create that. But that collimation of microwave radiation in air, very much like, the best way to explain it to the layperson is like a laser.
Well, Mark, cell towers don't output enough power to be any sort of a weapon. Also, the frequencies used don't have enough energy to actively cause harm.
You know, you get people tell you that this part of the spectrum doesn't carry enough energy with it.
Oh, yeah. I just said that.
Well, anybody that says that is a bit of a fool.
Ooh. He just said I'm a fool. I hope he can back that up.
You only have to watch a laser cut stainless steel. I've cut stainless steel on a number of occasions, and believe us, it's pretty hard material. You can pour as much oxyacetylene into a stainless steel pipe as you can. You won't burn it. You can with light radiation. So,
oh, I see what he's done. He's confused power and energy. So energy is determined by the wavelength of the photons. So 60 gigahertz is always the same energy per photon. If you're looking at a laser and it's a certain color, it's always the same energy level. But the photons, if you have lots of them, that's more power. And so if you're going to cut through stainless steel, you need lots of power. Now, I would not expect a regular person to understand the difference of this, but somebody that's claiming to be an expert like he is should absolutely know the difference. So, who's the fool here?
I'm sick and tired of reality denying, incompetent, woefully ignorant retards like you, son.
Whoa, Del. Back off a little bit. You're pretty intense there, but I do agree. I think you've captured the essence of his intelligence.
the fact that there are masers. A maser is a piece of equipment that acts very similar to a laser, but fires microwave radiation energy. In the sub-gigahertz range, it can travel at great distance. We all know that, and that's why it's been one of the very, very well-adopted military pieces of equipment to be used on the battlefield. So that's what 5G is. Its other technical parameter, densification. Densification means more of everything that went before. I mean, the collimated signals from a 5G transmitter can be over 100,000 times more powerful than a 4G transmitter, significantly more, and that's dangerous.
Whoa, 100,000 times more powerful than a 4G signal. Well, that's a high claim. And again, I know you don't understand enough about power and energy to actually back up that claim. So you're wrong. And but let me look at those sunglasses again. I've seen sunglasses on some other people that have been that are pretty unintelligent. Where have I seen that before?
The Ooga Booga Man. I don't want to run into him. Oh my God, they got the flip-flops in the AKs.
Sneeze in my mouth. My name is Joseph Gabriel Rocha Jr., and you can sneeze in my mouth. You can sneeze in my mouth. It's okay.
There it is. Yep, those guys. Welcome to the club of sunglass-wearing guys on YouTube. Well done.
Professor, with your superior English, I want you to give us your sense of why 5G is a threat to people and the planet, in brief.
My attitude to 5G is quite different than everybody else, because I know that is a challenge for our omnipotence, omniscience, to solve it, because we are omnipotent being, and I see good in that challenge. So our, so to say, dark brotherhood is acting their role wonderful, and they did not succeed to wake us up with 3G, with 4G, but now with 5G we are waking up, and we will be able to learn how to use our omnipotence to solve that and to balance that everything with our omnipotent mind only.
So, wow, that didn't make any sense at all. What grade do you think that he didn't pass?
Kindergarten, preschool, first grade, second grade, all them grades above, A, B, C, D, everything.
Well, the reality is that he did not skip out of those grades. He was a particle physicist, a high-end professor for his time, but something happened around the year 2000, and everything floated away. What he did do is he created something that is supposed to block the radio frequency, the harmful radio frequency, from your cell phone from getting into your body. What you do is you put it on your cell phone, you know, like this side of your cell phone, not the side near your face, of course, because then you wouldn't see the screen. And it's supposed to block I don't know how it's supposed to work, how they imagine it works, but let's listen to the description of it.
But what I do know, Robert, is that Professor Lakicevic has innovated a technology which we subjected to the most advanced clinical trials that we're able to, including heart rate variability and dark field microscopy and so on. And his technology has proven out to be the most formidable, not just remediation or blocking technology, but it creates a quantum shield which then transmutes the harmful radiation into, let's say, Tesla-based frequencies, which still impact you as frequency or radiation, but it's now a positive life-affirming phenomenon that occurs, actually putting life force back into the body, rectifying the mutant geometry of the spin of atoms and so on. So we're talking about full spectrum remediation technology.
So there you go. That's his attempt at a description. He says that they even tested it, but here's an easy test to find out if a sticker is working to block the radiation from your cell phone. If the phone works, the sticker is not working. You see, because when the phone tries to send a signal out to the tower, this side of it is blocked, and it cannot get to the tower if the sticker's working. But of course, the part that's near your face, that's the part then that can send out. So it's sending more into your face. Kind of the opposite of what you want. Fortunately, they don't actually work. Your cell phone will talk to the tower just fine, even with the sticker on, showing that they don't work at all. So Robert goes around a couple more times talking with each of the guys, and they add absolutely nothing of, real value, especially the good professor who everything floated away. He talks about some woo. Anyway, he's gonna wrap it up here, and he's first gonna go into trying to pull in every single conspiracy theory into one congealed bunch of nonsense, and then hand it off to these other guys. Listen to this; it's quite fabulous.
And it is possible that the combination of geoengineering with aluminum and fluoride and all of this other stuff going into bodies, and the vaccines with genetic engineering modules and 5G are all intended to allow for a cleansing of the population that is ethnically targeted. I don't know myself. I'm just a village idiot.
You can say that again.
I'm just a village idiot watching from the sidelines. So let me bring us all to a close. You each get 1 minute. So Professor, let me ask you for 1 minute, at most 2, in closing remarks, and then we'll go to Mark Steele, and Sacha Stone will have the last word.
In my opinion, we have solution for everything, because there is a new energy present on this planet which can balance everything. It is energy of love, and its unit deca, the deca, can balance everything. We don't need to do anything, no fight, no judgment, nothing. We send our light and send this new energy unit to balance it, and it will be balanced. And we go enjoy the life, because that is the new wisdom of the new era. Go enjoy your life and send the new energy to balance it, and it will be balanced. I trust fully the new energy, and that is solution for everything. I love Deca, the Deca, and it works perfectly for everyone who decides for the new energy. How many people know about new energy? We are spreading out now, and we will be doing more in the future.
So to summarize, there's a new energy, and it's love, and we don't need to do anything, and then we're fine, and because we've got this new energy. Inrem, what do you think? Can you summarize it for us?
49, 46, 3.
Well, that was more clear than the professor said. So, all right, let's wrap it up. See what Mark Steele has to say.
What sort of numbers are we looking at who are going to survive this kill grid?
786 or something like that, 7.86 or something like that.
Because we need people to wake up. We need people to wake up to this absolutely atrocious attack on us.
Yeah, whatever, Mark. You don't know what you're talking about. I am going to address some of Mark Steele's stuff in another video, because he gets things really, really wrong, and he's getting people freaked out about stuff that he doesn't have the first clue about. Specifically electronics. Again, we've already covered that he's completely incompetent in understanding anything about radio frequencies. It doesn't end there. His incompetence has no bounds. So let's jump forward to what Sacha has to say and wrap up.
I'd agree with the professor, the consciousness, the new consciousness, the Deca consciousness, dodecahedron, speaking to the Deca, the change in the entire, all the waters of the earth have shifted, the vibral light patternation underpinning reality has shifted, and those of us who are surfing into the new dawn are using our consciousness to project the outcomes, as opposed to being victimized by the Atlantean light matrix.
Wow, that's a lot of nothing there. So, how do you think a guy like that might have done in school?
A wee bit slow in the class.
Yeah, that's an understatement. What do you think? Do you have a final message to Robert, the interviewer, and the rest of the guys there?
You're a weak little man, and so are the rest of you who are the same ilk. Weak.
I totally agree. So Robert Steele, the former CIA spy, he wants to send you a whole bunch of information that's wrong. Mark Steele is even worse. he gets people all worked up, and people are tearing down and burning down cell towers because they think that they're weapons. They're not weapons. So these guys are completely wrong. They don't have the background. They don't have the technical expertise to understand anything. For Robert to say that he had experts in viruses, vaccines, and human genetics is an absolute lie. They don't have anything of the sort. So, people, don't burn down cell towers. 5G doesn't cause sicknesses. We certainly could do more research on it, but the things that they're claiming is completely untrue. So I hope you like this video. It was a bit long, and maybe it's good if you like it long. Feel free to click on the like and the subscribe and the bell. And if you thought that if you think you have some feedback on it, go ahead and put it in the comments. If you didn't like it, click the thumbs down and tell me all about it in the comments as well. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.